Hello everybody. Welcome to the third day at the Balcon 2K16. Hope you're enjoying. Next lecture will be delivered by Sharkey. It's going to be about private browsing. So please enjoy and give a warm welcome to Sharkey.
Hello. So, people know me here as Sharkey. This is my Twitter handle. Anyone wants to reach me. And this is something about me. I've been learning about this stuff for really the end of the 90s. And one of the best ways that I found how to protect your system is to try to attack it as an attacker would. So you know if your defenses are good. Because if you just trust, like Microsoft says, with this window is really secure, use it, well, you're going to have a bad time, right? And one of the problems we're going to talk about is like advertising and all the stuff and misfortune that brings to people in the world. We have like 100 slides to talk about, and I really hope that I have to do a demo at the end. If you ever feel like I'm talking like this, please raise your hand and try to stop me. I'll try to explain everything that you don't understand. Okay, so with browsing, you have two actual threats. One is your privacy, one is your security. Privacy is about somebody trying to take your private data and use it for whatever reason they use it. And the other is your security. Somebody's trying to use your computer to use some other stuff. And at the end of the talk, I hope we'll have time to do the demo to show you how you can protect your computers and devices in many ways. So privacy is like, we all know what's privacy, but so many people say, I don't care about privacy, I don't care nothing to hide. Well, you can say that, but nobody really means it. Because if anyone says you that, you just ask them, okay, if you don't worry about your privacy, just give me the passwords of all your emails, like all your personal and business emails, and all your naughty emails, and the passwords to your social media and whatever. And nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to take you up from that. So everybody wants their privacy, everybody. And some people can afford it, some people can't afford it, some people just don't know how to do it. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is I have a lot of knowledge about this. And this is my way to give back to the community whatever I know, because my knowledge is not only good if only I can use it, and I use it to protect my computers and my home and my company. I want to spread this so you can protect all these things. Mass surveillance is one of the problems for privacy, and this is always being billed as we need to catch terrorists, and it was almost never used to catch terrorists. It was always to use economic negotiations, to see who is insider trading, diplomatic manipulation, all those things except finding terrorists. In the last couple of years, they are doing even that, but most of the time it's just used for completely different purposes. And this is UN Special Reporter on Freedom, and he says you really need to allow people to have encryption and anonymity because people can express themselves. Because there are things that you want to do only if nobody else is watching. I mean, there are lots of people lots of YouTube videos when you see somebody dancing or singing and he doesn't know how to sing, he's singing horribly. But somebody is like secretly recording him, and when he finds out somebody is secretly recording him, he's like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to see that. So these are just small samples of what people want to do when nobody's watching. And this is the great thing to say. This is from 2013. You just read it. Just read it. This is a great thing to say. If you don't care about privacy, everybody has something to do. Okay, so we have two problems. Guys after your private data, guys after your money or devices or your computers. So, threats to privacy. We have some classes of attackers. Some are like whatever, you can say NSA, but it's not just the NSA. Every country in the world is doing some kind of monitoring the internet. They have to do it, they have to do their job, but there has to be a balance and there has to be a check. And in the case of the NSA, which we know about, there is really no any kind of check, no any kind of warrants. The other one are advertising companies or social media, social networks. They store everything people type in, like, post, whatever, and they try to make huge profiles about the users so they can sell them to the advertisers. And last, if anything is free and just says free, you can use it freely. This is all saying, if you're using a product that you're not paying for, remember, you are the product. Anything free. Nation-state level actors, like governments, what we say NSA, it's not just the NSA. You really can't do anything about these attacks. These people are sitting on the privileged position on the network. I mean, you just have to stop using the internet to evade this stuff. You can use Tor, you can use VPN, you can use all the ways to hide the traffic, but then you have to exit at some point and use the internet, you know. So maybe they won't have your IP address, but they will have all your data. Like, it's all the same with email. You just have to stop using email, like that's anybody going to do, right? NSA is just the largest because they have tons of secret arrangements with all the telecom operators, so they are sitting on whole planet, really, this is the whole planet. And people here should remember that in the United States they have these amendments and protections like privacy and unreasonable search, but it only applies to United States citizens, which are 4% of the planet's population. Us here, which are not Americans, we are foreign. It is like foreign nationals, and we have no protection from the spying whatsoever. And this is the great picture from Snowden dump. The blue dots are satellite, high-speed optical cables. This is how the internet looks. Where's my mouse? Okay. This is how the internet looks. These are all underwater cables that go connect countries. And so they have secret, covert, clandestine, or cooperative large access. So they go to the provider and say, oh, we need to, protect the world from the terrorists. Please allow us to insert a tap, So you see, insert a tap everywhere in the world. Then they have regional offices, like they go to the telecom providers and say the same. So, okay, let's do it. And these yellow dots are really, really something. Remember, people, this is old picture. I think it's 2009. At any rate, it was for Snowden files. Snowden leaked them in 2013. So this is really old. CNEs. CNE means computer network exploitation. See, 50,000 implants. They attack routers at the uncooperating providers. All the routers have some kind of vulnerabilities, and they have their special viruses and vulnerabilities to attack, you see, Russia, China, Africa, South America, whatever, who doesn't want to cooperate with them fully, they just attack their routers. And FormSat, this is like from all, if somebody remembers Echelon system, they have satellite listening stations when the internet was going all over the satellites. And this box really is here telling, this box is censored at the request of, I think United States Intelligence Service, because I think this was published in Guardian first. And all those Snowden files are somewhat censored. And this is like telling from people here. You can see Budapest, Frankfurt, Zagreb, Sarajevo, Pristina, Tirana. You can see that every country in the region has regional cooperative service. So they go to the main provider of internet, to the backbone providers, and they say, well, we would need some to catch terrorists, and politicians say, okay, we'll help you, and they install a tap. So it's not just United States, it's the entire planet, and there is no way you can escape from this thing. You can hide your IP address, but that's just all you can hide, right? And what do they do with this? This is also real stuff. You see Nokia IMEs, this is really old. But they can target, they call this selector, like as Alok last night said. They cannot just search the entire internet, like just type in something. No, they have to select something. So you see user accounts, like MSN passwords for really MSN chat before, Yahoo, Google, Skype, Talk, whatever, cookies from the computers, they can target by that. So every user which has some cookie that they previously determined that is like known target, they can target any other listening point in the world. And when I see this is not being used to catch terrorists, this is it. PuTTY is a Windows program to manage secure shell servers, Linux servers. WinSCP is administrative program to copy files on servers. So do you imagine that bearded Taliban terrorists use PuTTY or WinSCP like for doing their terrorist stuff? Or this is just administrators like managing, because administrators have the keys to the kingdom, what they say. Administrators have the passwords, and if you attack administrators, you're going to get inside the network. And that really, really bugs me, because I am sysadmin myself. What do they do with it once they select? They can anything. They can do anything that we know it's possible to do on local Wi-Fi network. You can redirect traffic. You can reset so somebody cannot access some known site. You can redirect based on keyword, cookie value, DNS hijack. Whatever you can do in local network, they can do on a planetary level. Spam exploitation, file download disruption. If they know somebody is always downloading torrents, Tor browser, let's say, they can just block downloading Tor browser, Inject, into database. Instant messaging, XMPP, that's what we use, like Jabber chat, like. And in 2001, they didn't have enough of it after the September 11 attacks, and they said, okay, we'll bring a huge new database, and we'll try to store everything about anyone ever. So it's just, I won't read you this. It's just huge. And in there, this is the problem with collecting everything. This is just a cartoon. The pig is like trying to correct his sister, and it's not I, it's me, it's ISIS, and somebody's listening and says, ISIS, okay, like, you can come with us, They are extracting a huge amount of data, and not everything is what it appears to be. You just cannot target word ISIS and put anyone in the jail for it, right? And the scale of these things is enormous. This is the Utah data center. I mean, you maybe can't see it enough, but these 2 pixels here, they are cars. These are huge buildings that house tens of thousands of servers, and I don't know how much storage. And this is one of the data centers they are building to store everything they collect with these things. And Greenpeace and Electronic Frontier Foundation, they rented a balloon and they flew over them to troll them, like they're spying down below people, like be aware of it. This is like, it's so huge that I've seen somewhere that only this, and this is just one building, of course, this is just one facility, they're going to spend about $1.5 million per year on electricity alone. So you see its scale, you can't imagine it. Can you imagine how much it costs to build it, to maintain it, just for electricity? It's like that. And in there, they wanted to give it a name, so they gave total information awareness. And they said, okay, we'll have a Masonic pyramid, all-seeing eye, which is looking at all the planet, which is like, woohoo, we're doing that. And there was a backlash, of course, in the United States. And people said, we don't want that kind of program. This is really invasive. This is really creepy. And they said, well, okay, we'll turn it off. So they turned it off. And they said, they just moved it on another name. And they said, okay, this logo was really creepy. We'll need to find something more modern, more colorful, more maybe which is not really threatening. And we came up with this. Are you ready? This is like the new Total Information Awareness Program. These private companies house all the data which you can have here. Sorry. When you come back to this and you see Facebook and Google, they all capture all this data, your web browsing history, everything that you can do, they're capturing it. So this is like, the new leaders on the internet. I don't want to bore you about this. This is like really a long topic, and if anyone wants to see, there's really like programs going from 50s, in the 70s, in the 90s, they're really like ratcheting up the game. It's more and more collection. It is never less. It is more and more and more. And to put things in perspective, these guys, this thing is called Wall of Sheep. And I came to the idea, this is a normal thing on hacker conferences in the world. And what they do is, for everyone who is using the local wireless network, they sniff the traffic and extract the username and domain, and they hide the password. So for people who are using unsecure protocols like HTTP or IRC or POP3, all protocols without encryption, all this thing is really available to anyone who wants to look. And this is educational purpose. We are hiding the password. I mean, we can hide the password totally, not just three first letters. We can hide it everything. So you can just have username and domain IP. So there's no really harm done. You can just find out that your access is not really safe. And this is education. And I went to organizers and I said, this would be really cool to do. And they said, okay, that is really cool to do. We want to do it, but we're worried that somebody's going to interpret it wrongly. Now, this is positive. This is benign. If we were to sniff passwords, we're surely not going to show you that we're sniffing the passwords, right? But this is the problem. These guys are sniffing the entire world, extracting every password possible that goes through all these thousands of collection of points, and we didn't want to put this here, which was like really doable, really easy. And there's no real harm done, and this is just educational, and we're not doing it. Privacy problem number 2 are private companies going after your data. So this is advertising. This is all being done in the name of advertising. And in the last quarter, this is like 3 months, Facebook earned $6.4 billion. That this is a huge amount of money for the top advertisers, Privacy comes also from household devices, phones, TVs, fridges, everything that can be connected to the internet can send your data in one way or the other. Android phones are really like a problem. Some even come with pre-installed malware. There was news from some days ago that somebody bought a Chinese, here in Serbia, bought a new Chinese factory sealed phone, and it really came with adware. So I think privacy is not an option, and it shouldn't be the price to accept it for getting on the internet. That really is the problem. And the people don't really think that. This is the problem. This is marketing landscape. Let me show you just a little bit. You really can't zoom in enough to see there are thousands of companies, hundreds of companies which are doing something. Pardon. See? So it's hundreds of companies, and they're all doing something. So you really don't know even that this ecosystem exists, let alone how to control it, how to regulate it. Are there any laws which are governing what they can collect, for how long can they then collect? There is nothing governing these guys. And to show you just how this goes, we'll open 3 websites that like users here in Serbia like visit daily, right? And I have here is a computer, somehow full screen, and I have here a clear install of Linux Mint, which is like doing just okay. Mozilla Foundation made a add-on which called Lightbeam, which tries to show you what kind of traffic, third-party privacy protections are there. So let's like start with first. Let's RS. This is without any kind of protection, any kind of blocking. And you just scroll down the whole site, like nothing, just like scroll down the site. And then you can say like b92.net, right? And it's the same thing, so news, whatever. And just reading the news. This is just like nothing special. And what did I say? What do you want to go? This is like Webrtc. All the advertisements, they're just slowing down your browser, eating memory, eating network traffic. And then you can go to the Lightbeam. And you can see that, there's some tracking protection. When I tried this at home, there was 131 sites, third-party sites. So you can see that every site has literally tens of another like news, advertisements, whatever. They can do it. Just people are even not aware that these connections exist, and these central ones are the problem. DoubleClick, which is Google used, Google owned. They know that you have been on Blitz, B92 24 hours. So this is the problem with these central ones. Everybody has something from Facebook. Everybody has something from Google on their sites. So this little like button and post it and share it and whatever, Google Analytics, every website that you visit, it has it. So it's not a problem that B92 is going to see which articles are you reading. It is a problem that Google is going to know that you are on all of 3 sites. And they use it by tracking cookies, by tracking scripts, and whatever. And I'll show you later how you can block this. But this is really cool extension to show you like what is there to see. And when I started at home, dobro. Ajde sad ovako. Možemo da ugasimo. Shift F5, continue. And in the name of advertising, this was like news from 2012. The Target shops, like shopping malls in America, they are so targeting their customers that based on your browsing history, they have deduced that the girl is pregnant because she was looking for, like, baby powder and whatever. And they have sent at her house shopping coupons for baby stuff. And she didn't even tell her father she's pregnant, So he called, what are you trying to do? She's a teenager. Are you trying to get her, pregnant? And they said, well, okay, well, we don't know. Maybe it's an error in the system, and they removed them from mailing list. And after some time, she told him, and he called back like, well, I wasn't aware of some of the things that were happening in my house. So this is the problem with targeting advertising. They try to make a profile with you, what you like, where are you from, what's your affinities. So it goes on and on and on. This is from 2013. Somebody used the sniffer on its LG smart TV, So he found out that it's in plain text over HTTP. It was sending file names from a USB stick that the guy was moving movies, pictures, whatever. Which kind of programs do you want to see? What do you search in your smart TV, right? And they are sending in these personalized adverts. So it's like, unplug your smart TV right now. This is even a better thing. Somebody compared, who here has read Orwell's 1948? So really a small amount of people, just people read it. I read it in high school and it made a huge impression on me, and today it's even more timely. So on the left side, you have privacy policy for Samsung Smart TV. And please be aware that if your spoken words include personal or other sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured and transmitted to third party. So they're listening. The TVs have microphones, just like in 1984. TVs have microphones, and they're sending everything you say, so they can say, oh, this guy is talking about cars, let's send him adverts about cars. And this here is like text from 1984, which was written in the 50s, people in the West. And it was a commentary, what would happen if the communists would win, It was okay, political work, but it is a great story where everyone is being watched all the time. And listen to this. There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched by any given moment. How often or what system the thought police plugged in the individual wire was guesswork. So this was like 50s, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 60 years ago. And this is today. So this is really a thing today. And really some things are the very definition of private stuff. Who here thinks that this is a good idea? I mean, they're sending temperature levels, vibration levels. How long have you used it for? When did you start? When did you finish? What was the phone that used to start it? Because you can give it to your boyfriend so he can start you and stop buttons, This is the thing in 2016. This is the thing, people. This is Internet of Things. Really. Sorry. And this is the problem, one of the problems. This was a title of article, 98 personal data points. 98 people. So, okay, location, age, like generation, but then they go to home value, to property size, year your home was built, credit card type, preferences, TV shows. So they're bundling all this information in your account, in your profile, and they're allowing advertisers to target only the specific user who use coupons. This is the problems. This is, and listen, this is not even conclusive list. Somebody activated advertising program on the Facebook account, and they say this is not even conclusive. There may be more with that. And this is the guy who started it all, This is a poster, I don't know from where, but it's, what do you say, reference to his chat when he started thefacebook.com. And you see, I don't know why, people just, they dumb fucks. This is like the attitude that these people have toward privacy and toward their users. They trust me. Dumb fucks. Like, this is guy. Use Facebook. Yeah. And Facebook mining is used for something like that. You know, you can, this is like an app for landlords. So they can see when you were in financial stress, or where did you do any crime? When are you active? Which time of day or time of day, time of week? They even have your personality in percents. You know, how much are you extrovert or how much are you neurotic? Right? This is all being done by another private company, which is just scraping the data from Facebook. They say, okay, give us data about users, and we'll have like algorithms who are trying to track people, and we'll make a personality. You know, how much are you open here? How much are you? This is tracking people. So technologies that use today. I mean, we can talk about this all day. HTTP browsing, plain browsing, can be sniffed by any of these people. Like I had a talk about wall of sheep. Your internet service provider, of course, it is routing your traffic. Like anyone providing you with free Wi-Fi, like cafe, like restaurant, whatever, library, shopping mall, anyone can see, and anyone can see, monitor traffic between your provider and your destination service. So that really means like somebody who's on the backbone, like the government agencies. Cookies are really like 90s technology, and they're primarily used to track users. When you're logged into a site, you get a cookie, so you stay logged in site as you change pages. But these are used even non-legitimately, of course, to track users across the sites, like Google is doing, like Facebook is doing. Every site that has Facebook like button, and every site has a Facebook like button, they're going to put a cookie. So as you visit sites, the Facebook cookie stays the same. So the Facebook back knows that this user with cookie like 13 visited all these sites, and every site has Google Analytics and has Facebook like every website. JavaScript, you really can disable it completely. I'll show you a way how you can disable it for all the third parties, and it works great. But if you have to know what you're doing. You really have to know what you're doing. You have to leave something. Websites stop working with that. Adobe Flash. Adobe Flash, I mean, there's no point anymore in using it. YouTube works, Vimeo works, every video provider works with it. It is used only today on sites that provide free games, like for kids or whatever. Just kill it. This is, you can't know what a Flash applet is doing. You just really need to remove it. Flash local storage cookies, they are like local stored objects. You can block them also, but you need to block Flash. There's no point in using it. There's also HTML file local storage, which is like small database. It's similar to cookies, but it's not being stored with cookies, and it of course holds more data. Webrtc, this is like new protocol that's used for browser-to-browser dynamic connections. You can use like for calling your friends, for chatting without any kind of software. But it can come with privacy problems. It can leak your local LAN IP address. We can use to fingerprint you more. And even hash a unique identifier for microphone and webcam, which every device has now, right? Referrers refer to the site from which site you have arrived. So like, are you reaching us from a search engine or from our friend website? This canvas fingerprinting is something that's going for a couple of years now. It's a special technique to instruct your browser to draw a hidden image, to render it actually, and then to calculate the hash of it, unique hash, and send it back. And because every computer is a little bit different, they have a different CPU, GPU, operating system, whatever, is different is for every computer, this hash. And they can, it's not 100% efficient, but websites are using it. And there's even this technique that's called error cookie, which is a special technique that uses all these places to insert one cookie, the same cookie. So you can try like use your crap cleaner, or bleach bit or whatever. You clean stuff from your computer, but really this is like a list of things that you would need to clean. And if you don't clean one thing out of it, on the next start of the browser, it's going to repopulate all these other things. So these things can be blocked, can be, blocked. You just need a little bit of education. You need a proper tools to clean up, like BleachBit. People are using crap clean, but BleachBit is much better. Ways to hide your IP address from advertisers. If you use a shared IP address, the advertisers are not going to get what's your location, what's your country, and the browser needs to be like hardened, like it has to be configured. And I hope we'll have time for demo at the end. Threats to security, people who want your money directly, like ransomware is the first threat. They infect your computer, find all your passwords, grab passwords, and then encrypt every file that you have on your computer. And not just your computer, on every computer that's on local network. That's not a problem in a home when you have probably one computer, but in a company where you have tens or hundreds of computers, and if you can access any other computer, which is a normal thing to do, you can lock even their computers. And they just demand like 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, whatever you need to pay them, or you need to just reinstall computer and get everything from the backup. Banking Trojans are trying to wait until you log into your banking site, and then they are harvesting your login details. They even have, because most of the banks have two-factor authentication, like this extra code, they have an operator which is sitting somewhere, and at the moment when you log into a bank site, a notification pops up at his computer and says this user is like using the bank site, and he's like punching all the numbers as you are doing. I haven't seen this in Serbia, fake tech support scams, but people are really have no idea, most of the people really have no idea how to use their computers. And when the notification comes up in their browser, your computer is infected or your computer is broken, please call this number. And they're just like, woohoo, I have to call this number. And they call this number, person answers on the other side, yeah, we're a helping company, we're trying to clean your computer, you just need to pay us like $200 for this program and we'll clean your computer. So this is really a scam, but this scam works. I mean, I wouldn't include it here. This stuff works because people have no education. Remote access tools, they can access your computer, your webcam, your keyboard, whatever you type, your files. Right? Click fraud, they use your computer to click on websites, on advertisements. So they put an advertisement of their own, and they use the thousands of computers that they infected to click on those links and get money. And distributed denial of service, which is also like attack other websites. For anyone who says, who would take the time to attack me? I'm no target for anything. I'm no important, person. These are the things that can be done when a PC is infected. So it's like they can just choose with what kind of virus they're going to upload. I mean, when they infect a PC, they can upload multiple versions of viruses, of Trojans, or whatever, just with a click, So this is not something like you need to take it lightly. You need to protect your computer from exploitation. And this is what happens. This is a botnet in 1 hour of operation. This is a picture by malware researchers, the guys who managed to insert themselves into the net. they have captured 50,000 hosts in 1 hour that are being joined into the network. So these are huge numbers of computers. And can you see in this picture where the virus creators are from? Russia, of course. No, there are no infected computers in Russia. I need to say, not everything is from Russians. There are computers that target them exclusively, but this is like a lone picture in my folder with other else is going to look like this. And who are these people? Well, they have a name, they have a face, they have their lives, and this is one Bogachev, never mind. I'm drawing my Porsche Cayenne here like I'm making money, and here I'm being served with Spetsnaz, special police, court order for arrest. This guy was being arrested. This guy here, he's having a pet tiger, and a cool girlfriend. This one is a spammer, actually, also virus malware. He went to become a politician in Ukraine, so United States can't touch him now. And this Bogachev, this is actually wanted by the FBI. And can you imagine how much trouble do you have to make for United States that they put $3 million reward for his arrest? Like $3 million. This is like most wanted, like. Some of them are trying to be tough, They look like this. Really, the projectors are really like, but some are being like, trying to look tough. Just trying to look tough. And some are tough. This is really horrible thing to experience for any parent, They were, and this is old news. This is from 2012, The police, the investigator who was working on his case, he got his daughter abducted. They didn't return to him, and they found her 5 years later, in Kazakhstan, doing horrible stuff. These are really the people that can be nasty. This is organized crime, and this is huge amounts of money. 2 years ago, a guy was being arrested while he was trying to enter the United States. They arrested him, froze all his banking accounts. In one account, they found $14.9 million. So these are huge amounts of money for these people for really small input. There are people, and even they must go on vacation. This is Drydex, a banking Trojan spam campaign, and you see a month there is nothing. And when they returned from the holiday, they started doing it in the millions again. There are people, but they are hidden behind Russian wall. But sadly, you really don't need to travel that far. This is a special picture. I was wondering if I should put it here, but I really want to show you people. This is from a case that I had a little brush with. 9-year-old girls are chatting on a Viber. This is here in Novi Sad. And to the one, they are being 9-year-old girls, they are sending pictures of cats. And this is Viber chat app on Android, just nothing else. And she's taking pictures. See, this is not some picture taken from internet. This is taking pictures from a book, physically, and camera. And at the other girl's phone, one of the cats turned into this picture, the pedophile. So this is really horrible, and to their credit, the girls did the right thing. They told their parents. They acted really above their age. Most kids were just like shut down and delete everything and not tell anyone. I don't know how this happened. The fact that you can infect Android phone like without effort. Maybe it's like infected with some kind of Trojan or remote access tool. I don't know with what. I haven't debugged the phone. And what's 2 points I want to make sure everybody gets. Nobody's thinking about the kids. I mean, this stuff about privacy, security, I can't teach it to people who are fully grown-ups, who know the problems in the world. And the kids are, not even on the radar. Not even on the radar. Nobody's thinking about kids. And the other thing, the family, of course, went to police. They gave the police the picture. Viber said, okay, we'll find it. They got the IP. It's IP somewhere in some car mechanic shop, I think in Dobanovci, here. And what you need to remember, the police said, well, if it happens again, please call us. So nobody did a thing. Please remember this face. If you find him, like slap him across the teeth. Please, for me. If you see him somewhere, please. Yeah, so how do they do it? Two ways to infect a computer, at least for ransomware. Malicious mail attachments, they are spent during massive spam campaigns, like literally tens of millions of spam messages are being sent in a campaign, and it says like, okay, here's an invoice, please open it, and it's like some document file or like from Microsoft Office, and it exploits the Microsoft Office. And this is really users opening stuff from the internet. And the other way is while you're surfing the sites, advertisements can be infected. That's why I say block the advertisers, block everything, because they can be infected. And when they're infected, you're just browsing. The Guardian had malware outbreak for 2 days. They have sent the infected ad for like thousands of their users. And these are exploits. These are like security holes in a software like Java, Flash, Microsoft Silverlight, Adobe PDF Reader, Microsoft Reader, Microsoft Office, or even browsers themselves, Internet Explorer. They all have security holes. And when we in a security community say, please patch your computers, always have the newest version of everything that you need to have, this is the way. You need to have the newest version, not because it's like going to be some new buttons and new features. No, because known security problems are going to be patched, and you're not going to be able to fall into the trap of these people. I mean, Internet Explorer is like unpatchable, really, because every software has bugs. This picture is from 2015, and these are CVEs, like computer vulnerabilities entries, and these are being sorted by the company. And you see Adobe and Microsoft. You should never use anything from Adobe and Microsoft on a computer connected to the internet. Never. And you can say, look at Apple. Apple is like on the first place. Yes, but Apple is making a huge amount of effort to automatically update their computers. So the amount of exploits that you see here, 1,000, is for all their desktops and mobile phones first. And the other thing, they're patching it almost automatically now. So iPhones are, in terms of security, one of the most secure devices that people can buy. They are expensive, they have their other shortcomings, but in terms of security, they are far beyond anything, almost anything Android can offer you in terms of security, because remote exploit, to put you in an example, a remote exploit for iPhone, which is like the holy grail of hacking, there's a company that is buying it for $1.5 million. So they want to buy from the hackers, from bug bounty hunters, from whatever. If you have a bug that can exploit and run arbitrary code on an iPhone, we're going to pay you $1.5 million for that. So it's really like secure, unlike Android. And this is like a forum post from a guy selling his exploit kit. So you see, it can exploit Internet Explorer, Firefox, Adobe Flash, Java, Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Adobe Acrobat Reader. They are 0 days. They don't have update patch from Microsoft. So until this gets in the wild, nobody knows about these exploits. All exploits are FUD. This is fully undetected. No antivirus detects them. And the price, you see, $800 per month. you see, to exploit any kind of computer, Windows computer on the internet, $800 per month. This is like cheap. And this is the web panel. I don't know how much you can see here, but it's like Internet Explorer, Adobe Flash, Java, Mozilla, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Office PowerPoint, Microsoft Silverlight. This is like control panel for Russian control panel. You just click on every exploit that you want to exploit people, and you put it in an ad. And when people come across infected ad, any of these exploits will fire, and computer will get infected. With no, this is not like, please click here, open this, run, like main virus. No, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's just virus is installed. And this is like Microsoft Office phishing. They send you something, like an email. If you see here, Amazon gift code, please open, you have received Amazon gift code or invoice or whatever. And, you have problems with showing you this, please click enable content, enable Microsoft. And when people, another thing, knowledge, don't enable macros from files that come from internet, because as soon as you do that, your computer is compromised with probably ransomware. This is for 24 hours monitoring of the same researchers. This is just one Necker's botnet. There are hundreds of botnets currently in operation. This is just one. And you see there's like 800 PCs total during the 24 hours. The period 24 hours, 800 PCs have joined. These how much are offline, these are now online. These are huge numbers. And if they just from 1% receive $500, $1,000, this is huge money for investment of maybe a couple of $1,000s. This is why this crime is not going anywhere. This is just going to get more and more problematic. And these are prices from Russian, and these are all prices from 2013. So these are all cheaper. You can buy everything on Russian underground forums. Email spamming, like $10 for 1 million emails. This is like, you can buy everything. Just when you buy your computer, buy a component. You mean CPU, GPU, motherboard, case, power supply, hard drive, monitor. You just go on the Russian forum, you buy your virus, you buy your traffic, you buy your things, every little component, install them or have somebody else package them for you for $300 again. And you're infecting computers in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is why this is not going anywhere. This is just going to be, pay-per-install services prices. For 1,000 downloads from my website, if we are paying like $300 for installed viruses, not just advertisement, well, maybe it will be infected. No, these are like $1,000. Malware as service, you can see free trial, 100 visitors to your website, to your infected website. These are selling traffic, $3.50 per 1,000 visitors to your website. So, and you just need to put an infected website, and that's like done business. Keyloggers, fully undetectable, 100%. Backdoors, $25 for backdoors, to access computers on the company, whatever. Document prices. You can European passport buy for $5, scanned European passport. These are like really incredible stuff. SMS, you can send SMS. This is like, we had 2 months ago, our friend got infected Android phone because he clicked on an SMS, inflicted. He received an SMS from his friend, which is also infected, and he said, oh, look at this, Dropbox, click here on Dropbox, and he clicked in, and he used the Android browser without protection, and he got, again, infected, and he sent all the messages on his address book. You can buy servers, compromised servers, full servers. This is like, this is like most revealing to me. And you can't see, but they're like $8 and $7 and $6 access to a server on the internet. Official server, just somebody hacked in, he has a domain, username and password, and you can just access the server, you know, for $8, you know, $7, $6. And this is a typical VirusTotal report of a spam that I received. This is a problem. 6 out of 55 antiviruses have detected this. Email, phishing, whatever, something that I received in the email. Not every antivirus all the time is going to detect viruses. This is antivirus is just small layer of defense. You have to still run it, you still have to catch it, you still have to install it to be able to catch the older viruses, but new viruses are going to go right past. Then they shut down your antivirus. So these are all the names of the processes that they can shut down, key scramblers and Wireshark and all the security software, they can just disable it. They steal your passwords from any kind of program, which you may be using, mail, and they'll find all your computer for any kind of pictures, office documents, movies, you know, programming, websites, whatever, and they just encrypt it. And they ask you like, okay, your file's encrypted, you give us like $1,000 and pay us in Bitcoin. And even thermostats can get ransomware. You know, this is like proof of concept from DEF CON, I think. But even thermostats, like they are Linux computers, they can get, because they have no protection at all. And this is a funny message. One of the malware researchers managed to insert himself into the botnet and become a master for bots. And instead of a virus, he uploaded his message, and please don't open unknown email attachments. Like instead of a virus, he said, okay, send to the bots this one so they won't get infected. You know, I don't know how many people have realized this, but this was really a hack from the malware researchers into the malware botnet. And if you think it won't happen to you, listen, this is in creation. So this stuff is coming here. During this summer, I have heard from 5 of my friends in here in Belgrade who got their files encrypted with this stuff. So there is only one solution, backup, nothing else. And keep it offline. Please keep it offline, because if you use it on a USB hard drive permanently connected to your computer, it's going to get encrypted, whatever. Also, servers are going to get encrypted if the user who's infected has the right permissions to the server. Really, you have to use it offline. So, protection. You can protect, really, from this stuff. And the first thing is dump Windows. Please stop using Windows. All of these programs that I've been showing you, 95% of this stuff works only on Windows. 99% of this stuff works only on Windows. So if you can try to mitigate the threat, whole classes of threat go out the window when you dump Windows. Use OS X, use Linux. For macOS, you have to buy a computer, macOS, of course. With Linux, you really don't have to buy anything. You can just run it on any PC. Change passwords on your router. A lot of malware now is exploiting the fact that people just plug in their routers and forget about anything. They just change a password for the Wi-Fi network, and that's all. But the web admin access to the router, which you can access, always remains like 1, 2, 3, 4, or password or admin or whatever. So they change your settings on your router, and they reroute your traffic through their hostile servers. They can really change your traffic using your router. Or they can infect your router. This is even worse. Brazilian telecom, state telecom, got 2 million devices infected 2 years ago because they shipped everything. And with web admin access, with the default password and on the public internet. So there are just people who just scanned Brazilian address space, found out those available routers, and infected 2 million of them to turn them into a botnet. You should use a properly configured browser in private mode, not because it's going to give you much privacy, but because it's going to stop logging everything to your hard drive. So you don't need to worry about, did I clean my cache? Did I clean my cookies? No. The moment you close your browser, cookies are out to the window, cache is out to the window. You need add-ons for your browser. I'll show you which add-ons. And you need to configure them, not just install them. Use private search engines, not just Google, just let's Google anything. No, use something like DuckDuckGo, use something like Start Page. Start engines which don't log what you're using. You should run BleachBit, which is like crap cleaner that you have for Windows, some of you make it. It cleans temporary files, cookies, HTML5 databases, everything that collects during the browsing, even private mode. I run my browsers all in private mode. Even after I close it, BleachBit finds something to delete. You should have your antivirus. Period. It's not going to catch all, but it's going to catch something, and you need to have it. Even on Linux, or macOS. People are saying, "Oh, macOS is like secure. There are no viruses." I assure you, there are viruses. And in an effort to evade advertisements like "Where are you from?", you need to hide your traffic or IP address. And one problem is education of users. This is why people are always trained to just click OK. Just click OK. Just to come to continue working, just click OK, and everything will be OK. And all the protections that, let's say, Microsoft installed, like this UAC, passwords, whatever, people are just ignoring that, or either disabling UAC totally, or just clicking on every possible link. That's a problem. That's called fatigue. They are just they use it normally. There's a warning, do you want to run? Yes, run. Yes, run. And the viruses ask you that. And they just click, yes, okay, run. Or in another way, you have to have education. You can have thousands of dollars worth of equipment, security, firewalls, whatever, IDS. And if there is someone who is hell-bent on running this infected Microsoft Office file in your company, they're going to lock down the company and the server with it and whatever. So there is really education. One of the ideas is that you can run a local server for DNS requests, like Raspberry Pi and any small computer, and install this software. It's called Pi-hole, and you can, just like that you have lists for your adblock in your browser, you can put adblock lists into this stuff. So any device on the network is being protected from advertisements from just because it's in the blacklist. Browser choice, there is really like, it's a tough thing to say. Not all are equal. Chrome is like the most secure, period. They have the best sandboxing, they have most of protections in place, and really they're best. But then again, Firefox is the most private. It sends the least amount of data. Chrome sends some data back to the Microsoft, back to the Google, whatever you do. It really just communicates back. It's not much, but it sends. Firefox doesn't. And there are more add-ons which are privacy focused for Firefox than on Chrome. So you should use combination of the two. So add-ons for normal users, and I say normal users, I think you can install this on your parents' computer. These add-ons are not going to break anything. These are really safe, and they are blocking like 90% of the stuff. Just with this, they are just using really cool. For more adventurous users, for advanced users, you have random agent spoofer, which is great, which can inject a lot of stuff into your browser, so it can change your screen resolution, your name, really lots of stuff. I hope I'll get to the point to show you. And Matrix is really the cool stuff for blocking third-party JavaScript, which is actually the problem for privacy from security. Chrome has also uBlock Origin, also has Privacy Badger. Canvas fingerprinting is enabled in both. HTTPS everywhere. If any site has HTTPS version on it, it's going to automatically transfer you to it. Control your referrers, control your Webrtc. If you don't disable Flash in Chrome, if you really need Flash for something, for some sites, I mean, there are some sites that require, but I say don't use them, find something else. If you really need them, you should install Flash Control, because it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to run this Flash applet? Because they really are that powerful. They can infect a computer in a minute. User agent switcher. From this one, I don't have time to show you, but there's another similar name, user agent switcher, which is like for Chrome browser. And when you go to the privacy settings on their website, we're collecting like your name and your email and where do you browse and whatever you do on the internet. So do not install any kind of browser add-on just because it's on the top of a list of most used browsers. For advanced users, there's Rubber Glove, which is trying to really block some advanced stuff, but it can break and will break some of the stuff on most of the websites. And to just show you how this is for a couple of months, 900,000 queries have been blocked on this computer in a couple of months. Like, it is just used for surfing, for reading stuff. 900,000 queries on one computer. This is how effective it is. And this is just one browser. Hiding your traffic or IP address. There are some traditional methods, proxy, VPN, Tor. And proxies are what we've been doing in the 90s, like they are really old stuff, but they're still here. When you type in free proxy in your search engine, you're going to get thousands of proxies. And you can use them to hide your IP address, like, I don't want to know that this site is, I don't know for that site to know that I'm from Serbia, I want to be from Germany, whatever. But, just let me show you this. This was done last year. A guy wrote a script to analyze free proxies, and only 21% of them are not shady. Because you're doing HTTP only protection, they can inject traffic in your web browsing session. So don't do them, just don't. You see, he made a blank site of his own here, and when he ran a script, this is what's in script. This is the empty website, and this is what's appended during the traffic. So they are modifying your traffic. So please don't do it. And this is even worse because this script comes from the local service. So you can block it as a third-party script. You can block this one, actually. So just don't do it. We're left with VPNs and Tor. And just to first say a disclaimer. When we say, it's high-grade crypto, it's like great, you cannot decrypt it, please don't be focused on the crypto. What we use, it's unbreakable by the crypto side, but there are always side channels, there are always leaks, there is always something that can happen which you don't know that can happen if you are using that just like you read on a website, Tor is great, Tor is anonymous, just go to the website, download the Tor browser bundle, run it, and yay, you are anonymous, nobody can know you. It's not like that, please. You need to know about your programs, how do they work. It's not just trust anyone. VPNs, we have three main types. LLTP is really old, the oldest one, and it's only here because mobile phones are supported by default. All the mobile phones are supported by default. It's been broken since the 2000s, so please don't use it. This is like really old. This is Microsoft implementation of VPN, so everything Microsoft does has something like bad happen to it. Everything Microsoft does. IPsec is modern complex protocol which has been manipulated by the NSA, and there is a lot of stuff that is complex. There is a lot of stuff that isn't finished. There is a lot of stuff that you can even have settings for crypto to be null, to no crypto. So, you know, if you don't know what your IPsec client is doing, and somebody creates a wrong config file with crypto 0, everything is plain text. You're not protecting anything, you know. From those three, only OpenVPN is not broken by default. They can be really secure, and there are lots of providers of VPN services, like hundreds in the world. Some are being created by state-sponsored companies to catch users. Some are being created like activist organizations trying to protect privacy of the people. So you really have to know which kind of VPN provider are you going to choose. There are sometimes marketed as geo-blocking bypass, or Hulu won't work outside the United States, so you have to be United States. Censorship bypass, so Iran, China, Syria, Egypt, they are censoring the internet, so you can't access any website, old website, so you need something to bypass. Or anonymity, and every provider which says we have anonymity for you, you should avoid them at all, because you don't really have anonymity with VPN. You have security for your transport, but you're not anonymous. You have to pay for that service. If you're not paying for that service, you are the product, right? As we said. But if you pay, you can be tracked. If you pay by credit card, they have just your credit card and name. Yeah, if you pay with Bitcoins, you can also be traced. It's a lot more work, but you can be traced. So how it works, it's like either integrated in an operating system, or you can have a small program which creates an encrypted tunnel from your computer to their exit server. And when you exit the internet, you're like in Germany, US, Australia, whatever. So the advertisers can't know where you are. That's great. IPsec, you know, this is like, this was being done to the IPsec. And this was really like letter for letter from sabotage instruction manuals from SOP in England. Just insert yourself in an organization and make everything like slow and really just caution and patriotic and whatever. And after some times, no work is going to be done. And that's what happened to IPsec. And the problem is that IPsec is being used by most of the companies, commercial companies, for their workers to access their networks. This is the problem. So really, it happened a lot of them. Tor, in case, some of you, I guess that all you know, how does it work? It encrypts your traffic to the Tor cloud, to the Tor network, through the Tor network using 3 random, and on the last hop, it accesses unencrypted to the internet. And this red box is the problem. You don't know who is running the Tor exit node. You really don't know. This is the problem. And they can modify, just like using a proxy, just like using everything, they can modify their proxy, your traffic. And it happens, of course. Everybody likes this presentation. Tor stinks, like NSA. Presentation, Tor stinks, you know, there can't, you know, we will never be able to de-anonymize all Tor users, maybe some small fraction, you know, manual work, and nobody gets after. This is like current access to very few nodes. This is from 2012. This is the NSA having access to very few nodes, you know. Difficult, GCHQ, the Great Britain, the UK, NSA's version, runs Tor nodes. They know, they talk, these guys. Other partners, you know? You see the cookies. When you leak cookies, they can try to attack the cookie. Double click. Double click is like, can we flood the network, you know, with low Tor nodes, you know, to dissuade users from using it, to disable the stability of the network? This is 2012. And Tor stinks. Critical mass of users use Tor. Scaring them away from Tor might be counterproductive. You know? And Tor is really fingerprintable. This is my internal IDS system, which protects the network. And when I start the Tor browser on my computer here, and I go to my default gateway, the IDS system just fires up this warning. Like somebody's trying to use it. I know, I run the system, I know, but any company, any large company can and should be doing the IDS system. I mean, this is not a system to track Tor users. This is a system to track attacks on the network, but you really have to inspect your packets on the network really thoroughly. So this is a great software that I use daily to detect attacks on the network, but it can also be used by internet providers, by large companies. So you really, if you want to use Tor, you really have to check with your workplace, do they allow it? Because they can see that you are using Tor. They cannot see what you are using, where are you browsing, but they can see that you're using. So there was like the old saying, the old case from university somewhere in the United States, where the guy was arrested when he used Tor. How did it happen? Well, he was in university, he didn't feel like going to the exam, and then he sent an anonymous tip for bomb, you know, and the whole university evacuated and there was no exam. Great, yeah. But of course, the FBI gets called in and the university logs all the traffic, and they have this. And at the moment that the notification for bomb was sent, he was the only one in the university running Tor. So, of course, they got him. They don't need to know that where he did, you just need to be aware of this. I'm not saying don't use Tor, I'm just saying you need to be careful what you do and how you do it. This is research for 2007, where some guy made 5 exit points, and he has captured the credentials from the embassies, from all around the country. Just sniffing, you know, the mail, sniffing the accounts. This is 2007. This is from 2014. Researchers find Tor exit node adding malware to binaries. So please don't update your software on Tor, because there is a program that's called Backdoor Factory, which can, on the fly, backdoor your software. You're downloading one exe, because it's just a proxy server, he can modify it and send you the backdoor version. Please don't use Tor to upgrade your software. This guy says in 32 days, I'll find 15 instances where the node is sniffing and using my credentials. There are researchers doing this, like they purposely create a new, they purposely do, how do you say, a new website with a new password and username, and they log into that website from every node, and then they see what nodes have been trying to access. 15 nodes, you know, out of 1,500. It's not much, but you cannot choose, and you cannot know which are sniffing. And this is how it looks like. I don't know if you see. HTTPS man in the middle. So they're even breaking the encryption on your website. This is secure shell man in the middle. This is like DNS censorship, like Hong Kong and Turkey, like you can access some sites. XMPP man in the middle, chat program. So there are stuff, SSL strip, just denying your secure HTTPS, removing your protection from HTTPS. So you really need to be aware when you're using Tor, how are you using it, and to be neighbor. And what you could use instead of all of this, Streisand is a software named after an actress, which tried to sue some photographer who was taking photographs of coastline, and he captured her house. And that was like, okay, whatever. And after they went to the court, from 6 pictures that were downloaded, there was like 100,000 pictures that were downloaded. So it backfired to her. And this is, you just open account on any DigitalOcean cloud provider, and the script creates all these services for you. And you can use them like your private VPN provider. Gotos. Gotos. And again, if you want to do it, there are 2 websites that you can use for more info, and you can use this from Luka Gerzic, our friend. He went really great. He went really a lot of time, and it's on Serbian, so we can recommend it to people who don't know English very well, how to use it. And I would like to thank you for your patience, and sadly, we run out of time.